Hi friends, what's up? I am Mohammad Qais Rasuli, and this is the beginning of a series called TOEFL Preparation Tutorial, which covers all the sections and skills of the TOEFL test. Within this series, there are videos dedicated for each question style that includes the sample question, techniques, and strategies on how you can tackle down those questions and to answer them in order to get a higher score on the TOEFL test. Just to let you know, I have been teaching and instructing TOEFL classes for more than 1 year now. Without further ado, let's get into the slides. There's one thing you need to understand in order to be able to prepare properly for the TOEFL test, and that is the difference between English used in a daily basis of the Americans and the English used in the TOEFL level. It means that the TOEFL English is most often used in the American university basis or campuses. It's usually communicated via professors and students, and they are usually academic or scientific. The papers, the essays that they are writing in academic level, like they are using like academic vocabulary or scientific vocabulary, and it's quite different than the local vocabulary that we are using on our daily basis. So that's it for the difference. Okay, there are three questions that need to be answered in order to understand like what is TOEFL, who gives or who facilitates all the equipments for taking or for giving the TOEFL test, and who are like going to take the test. Like, why do you need to take the test? What is TOEFL? TOEFL stands for Test of English as a Foreign Language. It means that it's only for the people who their native language is not English. Maybe English is your second, third, or fourth language. And for pursuing their education or working in an international organization, they need to provide a certificate of their English proficiency. So in that case, TOEFL comes handy. Like, who gives it? There's an organization called ETS, or Educational Test and Service, which is located in the United States, and they are providing all the questions, equipments, and all the graders who are grading your scores and your question and answers. Like, and they have partnership with other educational institutes all across the globe, just to provide it and make it accessible for all the students who just willing to take this test. For example, within the Herat city of Afghanistan, there is Ghalib University that it's the only institute that it's providing the facilities as a official test center for the test takers. Next, who takes the TOEFL test? Like, there are three categories of the people who just want to take the TOEFL test. The first reason is for education. Maybe you just want to pursue your education abroad and you need to just provide an English proficiency certificate. For that reason, you can just take it. Maybe you just want to apply for a job in an international organization, like working for an NGO, and they need a certificate of your English proficiency. In that case, like, it's like useful. And maybe you just want to teach your students a new level of English. Maybe just you want to teach it for like a new skill, a new ability for the students of your like city. In that case, there are the reason that you just want to take the TOEFL test and prepare for it. Like, just to let you know, there are 8,500 colleges, universities, and agencies in 130 countries that they accept the TOEFL score as an official and accredited score all over the globe. It means that you don't need to worry about whether your university that you want to apply for, they accept or they do not accept. It means that mostly, like all the universities of all across the globe, they accept the TOEFL as an official score of your English proficiency in academic level. Next is about sections of the TOEFL. Usually there are 4 skills in each language. Also, it's the same case for the TOEFL test. Like, they have 4 sections for 4 skills of language. The first skill or the first section is reading. It comes with 3 to 4 passages. If it has 3 passages, it will last for 54 minutes. If it has 4 passages, it will last 72 minutes. It has also a total of 30 score for all the question comes in the reading section. The next section is listening. It comes with 5 or 6 tasks. Each task has its own like number of questions. We will talk about that later in their dedicated video. If it comes with 5 tasks, it lasts for 35 minutes. If it comes with 6 tasks, it will last 45 minutes. Again, it has 30 scores. The third section is about speaking. It has 4 tasks, lasts for 17 minutes. Again, has 30 score. And the last section is writing. Comes with 2 tasks and lasts for 50 minutes. It makes it a total of 120 score for the top score of the TOEFL, and also it's going to last 3 hours all the test and all the sections of the test. Okay, now that's it for the general role of the sections. Now let's get into more details about each section individually. About the reading, there are 3 to 4 passages. We talked about that already. Like the length of the passages are about like 700 words. It means that it can be 650 or it can be, for example, 800 words. Like the average number of the words that comes in a passage of the reading section is about 700 words. Like it means that you need to be used to read like 700 passages articles. So you need to just get used to reading long and complicated materials in English. The questions, like for each passage there are 10 questions, 10 questions with 10 different styles, like not the same, they are not going to be repeated, we will talk about it later. And the timing for each passage is about 18 minutes. And it means that you need to read the 700 words passage and answer all those 10 questions in only 18 minutes. Skills, like we talked about that, like each skill means a different question style. The 5 first skills of the reading section are vocabulary and context. We have a video on that. Like actually we have a video on each of them. Just stay tuned for the upcoming videos. Or like recognize reference, recognize paraphrase, insert sentences, factual information, or detailed question. Some organizations call it detailed question. Some other organizations like call it factual information. They're both the same. No differences between them. The sixth one is negative facts or non-factual information, inferences, rhetorical purpose, summary information, and table completion. There are the 10 skills, or we can say 10 question styles of the reading section. While you're working with a passage and you're reading it, there are counts like 10 questions based on these 10 question styles, and you need to answer them in order to get the top score. And before just starting the individual videos like dedicated for each of these skills, we have a pre-tip in here. Like to do well in the reading section, you need to use to read long and complicated paragraphs. If you have, for example, the experience of reading newspaper, articles, passages, and even books in English, it means you're one step ahead. It's a plus point for preparation for the TOEFL test. Good for you. The next section is about listening. We have 2 different types of audio. Of course, it's listening. We should listen to something, and they're not actual people. We are working with a computer, so they need to be some audio which have been already recorded for us, like in beforehand. Like the first type of the audio is conversation. It counts like 2 or 3 conversations for each test, and it has 5 questions per each conversation. And each conversation lasts for 2 up to 4 minutes. Like it differs from a student to a student. The second type of the audio in the lesson section is lecture. The number of the lecture can be 3 or maybe 4. It differs from a student to a student again. And each lecture comes with 6 questions. After listening to this lecture, which lasts for 4 or 6 minutes, you're asked 6 questions about that particular lecture that you have already heard. Okay, we have also skills or question styles in the lesson section as well. There are usually 6. Why I say usually? Because there are different organizations and there they have different division. Maybe some other organization they are dividing it into up to like 4 skills, maybe up to 8 skills. But the one that I have made my lectures based on that, it divided it to 6 skills. It doesn't like leave any important points from from the TOEFL skills of the listening. It covers all the parts. Don't worry about that. Like it covers all the styles and question from the listening section. And to do well in these question types, we have a tip in here. Taking good notes and making educated guess is the key for having or for taking a top score in the listening section. Like for example, we are answering the question, understanding the details of the listening section of the TOEFL. Like we do not understand the question number 3, and in that place we need to just make an educated guess. Educated guess means that we just make our guess based on the gettings and the outputs of what we have already get from the audios. It means that I have the answer for the question number 2 and the number 1, but I am not sure about the question number 3. So based on the previous questions, I have information about that topic. So based on those kind of information, I am going to make an educated guess, not from like without thinking or like just arbitrary. No, it's not going to be like that. I should have a small like evidence if I'm going to make a guess and choose the options in here. That's important for the TOEFL test. You cannot just leave a question blank. Like it's not going to give you a score. But if you just choose it like via educating a guess, it's going to just raise your score. A break, like we say that the TOEFL test lasts for 3 hours and it is like boring sitting in front of a computer and working with the mice and keyboard and reading from a screen. It's going to be so exhausting and boring for the students. Like, do we have a break between the tests? Yes, of course we have. We have a 10-minute break between two sections. After we finish the reading and listening section of the TOEFL, there is a 10-minute break, which can be like for just hydrate your body, just have a snack, quick snack, or just go to the bathroom or doing something else. You can have that 10 minutes free of doing anything, and you can just refresh your body. You can come back and start the next two sections. The third section of the TOEFL is speaking. It has 4 tasks. One is which independent task, the three of which is integrated task. In the independent task of speaking section, there's a casual topic and ask about 2 options. Like it have like many different styles. We'll talk about it later. It will give you 15 seconds to prepare for that casual topic that you are going to talk about, and you have only 45 seconds to speak about that question. It means that there's only 1 minute time for you, 15 seconds for preparation, and 45 seconds for answering that particular question. And it's going to be all recorded. It means that you're not talking to a person face to face. You're just talking to a microphone and a computer in front of you. So you need to get used to talking to a computer like now I'm talking to a camera. So try to practice that. It's important. The other 3 tasks of the TOEFL, like they are integrated. It means that they're a combination of the reading, listening, and the output comes with the speaking of yourself. Like there is a passage and there is an audio related to that passage. You're reading and you're listening, and you have 20 or maybe 30 seconds to prepare, like all to gather out all your notes or all your findings from that passage and from that lectures, and you need to speak about that particular topic for 45 or 60 seconds. We will talk about each individual task and about their templates, like how you can just crack it. Just stay tuned for those videos. Okay, now there are the question styles of the independent task of the speaking, like the 2 options that they are usually asked in a casual topic question of the speaking section is like maybe they are agree or disagree. For example, they are asking you, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? And the first statement goes like this, like, do you think that you should stay with your parents after marriage or no? Like, do you agree or disagree? You should just give reasons, and you should support your reasons by giving examples, and that is the way you can just give a very academic and scientific answer for those questions. We will talk about that in details in later videos. The second style of the independent task is preference. Which one do you prefer? 3 choices. You are provided with 3 choices. Which one do you choose? Advantage and disadvantage. Like you have like one topic or one issue that you're talking about, and you should just balance, and you should talk about your advantages and disadvantages. It doesn't really ask you to choose one. It just tell you to talk about the pros and cons of each topic. If imaginary, like you are provided with an imaginary situation, for example, if you had like $10 billion, what would you do with that money? And in that time, you're going to just develop an imaginary situation, and you're going with that. And the last style of the independent question is description and explanation. You're asked about the topic, and you're told to just explain it, give reasons and examples. Like, for example, what is franchise marketing? Like, you should just talk about it. It's usually topics related to the American cultures. So if you have like experience of watching videos, also movies from United States, it's like already you're 2 steps ahead because you're already familiar with the American culture, and that's a 2 plus. for you. And the task number 2, 3, and 4, they are integrated as we said earlier. And to do well in those kind of tasks, taking notes will be the most useful. We will talk about taking notes procedure, how you can just make better your note-taking process. And the next step is that accent is not important, but the pronunciation is. The accent can be different from country to country, even from like person to person. Maybe your accent is different from my accent. Usually the Indian people, they have like a very like strange accent, but they are all also graded the same as the Americans. Why? Because the pronunciation is the same. You can't just change the accent, but you cannot change the pronunciation. So if you have a different accent from the Americans, don't worry. Like it's not going to deduct from your scoring. Don't worry about that. Okay, that's it for the speaking section. And the last section is about writing. You're provided with 2 tasks, 2 questions. The first question is integrated. Again, it means a combination of a reading and a listening. You're provided with a short text, with a audio talking about that text. They're related, and you're giving 20 minutes to write an academic essay about what you have read and what you have heard. So you need to prepare your time and you need to planning. You make and write your essay structured in an academic way. The next question in the writing is independent. It means it's a casual topic. They ask you a question that you're already familiar with. For example, like watching cartoons and instead of watching, for example, documentary programs on the TV. Which one do you think is more beneficial for the children? And you're going to give your reasons, your examples. Why do you think that? And you should provide like academic reasons, not something like not being supported with examples or reasons. So you need to just plan your time, choose one side, like which one do you prefer, which one do you choose, and go with that side with reasons and with examples. The tip, like how you can do good on the writing section of the TOEFL, writing as many practice essays as possible. Like it's like true, like practice, practice, practice. Like practice makes perfect. It's like a quite through quote. So you can just follow this and practice as many as you can. Like the speaking that we are practicing every day, like from the morning up to the late night, you're just talking. The writing, like writing practices, like it's not that much usual for the people like in their daily basis, but you can just make it a habit for yourself. For example, write at least 1 paragraph each day for while you're practicing for the TOEFL. It can just give you the clue like how you can make your writing better. Like you can find out your mistakes and problems, for example, misspelling, vocabulary, and also like the grammatical points that you have problem with. You can just find them out and you can work on them and and you can make them better. Actual opinion does not matter. It means that whatever you're writing or which side you're taking, it's not important for them. It's important like how you develop an essay for them, like how you're giving reasons and how you're giving examples, but it is not important like which side you're taking. For example, for the previous question, an example we made, like the cartoons as the documentary program, it's not important like which one is the true or the correct answer. It's not like that. Like which side, like you choose, you just develop a scientific and academic essay, you're good to go and you can just take the top score in any side that you're taking. The actual opinion does not matter. Do not think about like, oh my god, which side is going to be the correct answer. No, just develop an academic essay. Think about that. So this was the general information introduction about the 4 sections of the TOEFL test. If you have any question, comments, you can write it down below, and I will make sure to answer all your questions if you have any. And for the later videos, we are going to talk about each individual question style and skills with their templates, frameworks, and the techniques. Make sure to watch those videos as well if you want to just prepare for the TOEFL test. And I hope that you enjoyed this one. Okay, have a nice day and goodbye. See you later.